And I'm gonna get them toes too.
What about the toes again?
I'm gonna lick all them little toes you got on your feet. All them bunions. Them beautiful bunions you got.
I ain't got no bunions.
What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sisters. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sisters fans, hope everyone's doing well. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit subscribe, click that bell notification icon and select all. That way you're notified whenever I post new content to the channel, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. This video is pretty much asking the question. I know some people weren't too fond of how things played out between James and Danny during last week's episode. And I just wanted to ask the question, some people are feeling like, Danny was caught off guard and possibly, raped by James. But I don't think that was the case, in my opinion, based on the setup. I feel like if nothing else, Danny was more surprised and shocked by James than anything else, from the breakdown, if you will, of how he described what he would do to her and everything, and I posted that clip, I kind of took that piece from the episode. I don't know why, but that scene cracked me up. I want to get all them toes. I want to lick all them toes. And it's like, what do you say about my toes and them bunions? Them beautiful bunions. That line alone, and then she's like, I ain't got no bunions. That line alone, at least by the way the line was delivered, that let me know that this scene was more about comedic value than Danny being a victim of sexual assault. At least that was my takeaway from the scene. Now, if you felt different, that's understandable, but I'm only talking from the way I interpreted the scene. And we knew that, all the girls made poor decisions. Well, the only poor decision Karen made was going back to her house too soon. Originally she told Aaron not to get out of the truck. So can you even imagine if she stayed in her apartment by herself and had that bad dream and whatnot? That would have been awful. So, Sabrina, I don't think she made her and Calvin having sex. I think, yeah, that night, the bad decisions was Andy's one night stand, just using Paris. Sabrina allowing the rumor about Calvin doing meth to affect how she looked at him. Danny from having a one night stand. And like I said, Karen for just staying in the house too soon after, the stabbing and whatnot. So I feel like with Danny, kind of like Andy, pissed off at her man. She just felt like, getting up under a new one just for the sake of, letting go of her feelings. And to be honest, her and Preston didn't even work things out. It's like, I'm not saying Danny wasn't wrong to be offended, but she has a knack for being in control. And I'm not talking to the extent of, let's say, a Candace Young or a Veronica Harrington or a Victoria Franklin from, I think it's on the Oval, right? It's the Franklin family, Jason, Gail, Victoria, and Hunter Franklin. Yeah, the Franklin, Victoria Franklin. But at the same time, in a relationship, she has to be like the domineering personality. So, she really hasn't worked things out with Preston yet to just be, messing around with some dude from a club. And I think that when you look at it from that perspective, it makes sense why James caught her off guard and knocked her off her feet and then licked her toes, because she's not used to a man. I mean, based on the Danny from season 1, this was a woman who was like, domineering, loud, in your face. Like, she's going to tell you what she's going to do when she's going to do it. But in this situation, we actually have a man that's, putting it on her for a change. So that to me is why I felt like that scene felt a bit, awkward to watch at first. But looking at the context of the delivery of the dialogue, as well as the fact that she clearly enjoyed it when she woke up the next morning, obviously ashamed, but that's what I think. So do you think that James took advantage of Danny? And I know I don't really have much to say about, what the bartender told Maurice about James, in fact, like he's a hustler and whatnot, but then it's like, yeah, you know what, Danny ain't got nothing, so James wouldn't be interested. So Maurice is actually looking out for Danny. I don't think it's a situation where like James would try to rob her or anything, because she really doesn't have much anyway. It's just the fact that, Danny's poor decisions robbed her of a potentially good relationship with Preston because he walked in and saw James and her together. So there's that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And like I said, that scene was hilarious as hell. Well, them bunions, them beautiful bunions. I ain't got no bunions. I won't get that crack. Like, oh, get on down there. I'm like, dang, he's almost like he has a southern drawl in his accent when he was talking. But yeah, there we go. So let's talk about in the comment section below. Shout out to the patrons over on Patreon. You can join in for as little as $1 a month, or you can just donate to the channel on PayPal or Cash App. As always, I appreciate you for supporting the channel just by watching my content. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.